I'm going to tell you why it is so quiet right after the election. I mean, 1 minute, this guy is Hitler and he is a threat to democracy and war is going to break out. And then it's, well, I'm going to call him tomorrow and, concede the election. And Joe Biden, we're just going to have a conversation in the office. And, the media is like, well, we lost, it was a fair election. It is what it is, another 4 years, whatever. Wasn't it just a couple months ago that this guy was shot at, like almost killed? It all relates to the Red Sea prophecy that the Lord gave me back in 2020, the day after the election. You see, I was so certain that Trump was going to win, and I was bummed when all this stuff was happening. And I was like, what is going on? This doesn't make sense. And I went on a walk on November 4th, 2020, and the Lord was like, the Red Sea moment. Now, over the last 4 years, he has continued to build on that original prophetic word and has given me more revelation of what that really means. Before I go into that, let me just at least say, what the heck even is the Red Sea story? Well, it comes from the Bible. God's people were slaves in Egypt. God told Pharaoh, who was the leader of Egypt, to let his people go. He used his servant Moses to do this. So Moses went to Pharaoh and was like, let my people go. And Pharaoh was like, nah, man, I'm not letting your people go. And then this plague happened on Egypt, and then another plague, and another plague, and another plague. And like things got really bad for Egypt because he wouldn't let God's people go until finally Pharaoh was like, okay, enough is enough. Like this land is ravished. Like things are going really bad. Like you could just go. So God's people are on the way out of Egypt and they're all celebrating. And it's like, yeah, this is great. Like we finally did it, like let's get out of here now. There was this sense from all of them that they were free and that they had done it and the victory had been won until there they were standing, looking at the Red Sea with nowhere to go. The Egyptians were behind them, running after them. And they're like, what is going on? You see, there was a pause. There was a brief moment of quietness where everything seemed great and they were just going to leave Egypt and it was all going to be fine. But then it says that Pharaoh and the Egyptians had regret that he allowed the Israelites to leave and then they went after them. That is what I believe is happening right now. There is this finally like, just go already, Trump. But it's going to happen where they go, no, we can't allow this to happen. And Black Swan and a lot of other stuff could go down. Of course, Alex Jones is already out here saying a bunch of crazy things. And whether he's true or not true, I still believe that he's onto something where something's supposed to go down. Now, if you know the end of the Red Sea story, God's people go through the Red Sea in this incredible, shaking, tumultuous time with waves of the sea on each side of them. And they're just going forward and they have no choice. They have to go forward because they can't go to the left or the right. And behind them is the Pharaoh and the Egyptians. So they're panicking and they're like, we just got to go forward. And it's like really scary, but they're going forward. They ultimately get across, and then the Red Sea, which is fully exposing everybody now on top, because that's what's happened in the last 4 years. Evil has completely been fully exposed. That's the other word of the prophecy. And the Red Sea eventually drops on the enemy and God's people get across. Oh, I can go down many more roads and other prophecies like the fall of Saul, rise of David, and the wealth transfer and the shaking. But we're just going to stick to this Red Sea story here. And yeah, so be ready to be like the Israelites walking through the Red Sea, bracing for impact, but knowing that God is for you and not against you, and to rest in him, that he's bringing us into victory. And the Egyptians that are behind us coming after us will eventually get very close, but then the Red Sea will drop on them. And that represents a season of justice, which will happen going into 2025. I'm excited, and you should be too. God bless you, and have a good day.